Hello, adventure lovers. This is Grandma Carla, and I am here to read you more of the Jungle Book. And I'm going to dedicate this reading to my oldest grandson, Michael, who I am supposed to be visiting today. But because there was a hurricane that came through, we're staying put. So I am missing you, Michael. We are starting a new section of Jungle Book, and this one is called Ka's Hunting. And remember, it starts with a little poem. His spots are the joy of the leopard. His horns are the buffalo's pride. Be clean, for the strength of the hunter is known by the gloss of his hide. If ye find that the bullock can toss you, or the heavy-browed sambur can gore, ye need not stop work to inform us. We knew it 10 seasons before. Oppress not the cubs of the stranger, but hail them as sister and brother. For though they are little and fubsy, it may be the bear is their mother. There is none like to me, says the cub, in the pride of his earliest kill. But the jungle is large, and the cub, he is small. Let him think and be still. Ka's hunting. All that is told here happened sometime before Mowgli was turned out of the Sione wolf pack. It was in the days when Baloo was teaching him the law of the jungle. The big, serious old brown bear was delighted to have so quick a pupil, for the young wolves will only learn as much of the law of the jungle as applies to their own pack and tribe, and run away as soon as they can repeat the hunting verse. Feet that make no noise, eyes that can see in the dark, ears that can hear the winds in their lairs, and sharp white teeth. All these things are the marks of our brothers, except Tabaki and the hyena, whom we hate. But Mowgli, as a man cub, had to learn a great deal more than this. Sometimes Bagheera, the Black Panther, would come lounging through the jungle to see how his pet was getting on, and would purr with his head against a tree while Mowgli recited the day's lesson to Baloo. The boy could climb almost as well as he could swim, and swim almost as well as he could run. So Baloo, the teacher of the law, taught him the wood and the water laws, how to tell a rotten branch from a sound one, how to speak politely to the wild bees when he came upon a hive of them 50 feet above ground, what to say to Mang the bat when he disturbed him in the branches at midday, and how to warn the water snakes that in the pools before he splashed down among them. None of the jungle people liked being disturbed, and all were fairly ready to fly at an intruder. Then, too, Mowgli was taught the stranger's hunt call, which must be repeated aloud till it is answered whenever one of the jungle people hunts outside his own grounds. It means, translated, "Give me leave to hunt here, because I am hungry." And the answer is, "Hunt then for food, but not for pleasure." Here's a picture of Akela, the lone wolf. And here's a picture of Mowgli with Baloo. No, excuse me, Mowgli with Bagheera, the panther. All this will show you how much Mowgli had to learn by heart, and he grew very tired of repeating the same thing 100 times. But as Baloo said to Bagheera one day when Mowgli had been cuffed and had run off in a temper, a man's cub is a man's cub, and he must learn all the law of the jungle. "But think how small he is," said the Black Panther, who would have spoiled Mowgli if he had had his own way. "How can his little head carry all that long talk? Is there anything in this jungle too little to be killed? No. That is why I teach him these things, and that is why I hit him very softly when he forgets." "Softly? What dost thou know of softness, old iron feet?" Bagheera grunted. "His face is all bruised today by thy softness. Ugh! Better he should be bruised from head to foot by me, who love him, than that he should come to harm through ignorance." Baloo answered very earnestly, "I am now teaching him the master words of the jungle that shall protect him with the birds and the snake people and all that hunt on 4 feet except his own pack. He can now claim protection if he will only remember the words from all in the jungle. Is not that worth a little beating? Well, look to it then that thou dost not kill the man-cub. He is no tree trunk to sharpen thy blunt claws on. But what are those master words? I am more likely to give help than to ask it." Bagheera stretched out one paw and admired the steel blue ripping chisel talons at the end of it. "Still, I should like to know. I will call Mowgli, and he shall say them if he will. Come, little brother." "My head is ringing like a bee tree," said a sullen voice over their heads, and Mowgli slid down a tree trunk, very angry and indignant, adding as he reached the ground, "I come for Bagheera and not for thee, fat old Baloo." "That is all one to me," said Baloo, though he was hurt and grieved. "Tell Bagheera, then, the master words of the jungle that I have taught thee this day." "Master words for which people?" said Mowgli, delighted to show off. "The jungle has many tongues. I know them all." "A little thou knowest, but not much. See, O Bagheera, they never thank their teacher. Not one small wolfling has come back to thank old Baloo for his teachings. Say the word for the hunting people. Then, great scholar." "We be of one blood, ye and I," said Mowgli, giving the words the bear accent which all the hunting people of the jungle use. "Good. Now for the birds." Mowgli repeated with the kite's whistle in the end of the sentence. "Now for the snake people," said Bagheera. The answer was a perfectly indescribable hiss, and Mowgli kicked up his feet behind, clapping his hands together to applaud himself, and jumped on Bagheera's back, where he sat sideways, drumming with his heels on the glossy skin and making the worst faces that he could think of at Baloo. There, that was worth a little bruise," said the brown bear tenderly. "Some day thou wilt remember me." Then he turned aside to tell Bagheera how he had begged the master words from Hathi, the wild elephant, who knows all about these things, and how Hathi had taken Mowgli down to a pool to get the snake word from a water snake because Baloo could not pronounce it, and how Mowgli was now reasonably safe against all accidents in the jungle because neither snake, bird, nor beast would hurt him. "No one, then, is to be feared," Baloo wound up, patting his big, furry stomach with pride. "Except his own tribe," said Bagheera under his breath, and then aloud to Mowgli, "Have a care for my ribs, little brother. What is all this dancing up and down?" Mowgli had been trying to make himself heard by pulling at Bagheera's shoulder fur and kicking hard. When the two listened to him, he was shouting at the top of his voice, "And so I shall have a tribe of my own and lead them through the branches all day long." "What is this new folly, little dreamer of dreams?" said Bagheera. "Yes, and throw branches and dirt at old Baloo," Mowgli went on. "They have promised me this. Ah!" Hoof! Baloo's big paw scooped Mowgli off Bagheera's back, and as the boy lay between the big forepaws, he could see the bear was angry. "Mowgli," said Baloo, "thou hast been talking with the Bandarlog, the monkey people." Mowgli looked at Bagheera to see if the panther was angry too, and Bagheera's eyes were as hard as jade stones. Thou hast been with the monkey people, the gray apes, the people without a law, the eaters of everything. That is great shame. When Baloo hurt my head, said Mowgli, he was still down on his back, I went away, and the gray apes came down from the trees and had pity on me. No one else cared. He snuffled a little bit. The pity of the monkey people, Baloo snorted. The stillness of the mountain stream, the cool of the summer sun, and then, man cub? And then they gave me nuts and pleasant things to eat, and they carried me in their arms up to the top of the trees and said I was their blood brother, except that I had no tail and should be their leader someday. They have no leader, said Bagheera. They lie. They have always lied. They were very kind, and they bade me come again. Why have I never been taken among the monkey people? They stand on their feet as I do. They do not hit me with hard paws. They play all day. Let me get up. Bad Baloo, let me up. I will go play with them again. Listen, man cub, said the bear, and his voice rumbled like thunder on a hot night. I have taught thee all the law of the jungle for all the peoples of the jungle, except the monkey folk who live in the trees. They have no law. They are outcasts. They have no speech of their own, but use the stolen words which they overhear when they listen and peep and wait up above in the branches. Their way is not our way. They are without leaders. They have no remembrance. They boast and chatter and pretend that they are great people, about to do great affairs in the jungle. But the falling of a nut turns their minds to laughter, and all is forgotten. We of the jungle have no dealings with them. We do not drink where the monkeys drink. We do not go where the monkeys go. We do not hunt where they hunt. We do not die where they die. Hast thou ever heard me speak of Bandarlog till today? No, said Mowgli in a whisper, for the forest was very still now that Baloo had finished. The jungle people put them out of their mouths and out of their minds. They are very many, evil, dirty, shameless, and they desire, if they have any fixed desire, to be noticed by the jungle people. But we do not notice them, even when they throw nuts and filth on our heads. He had hardly spoken when a shower of nuts and twigs spattered down through the branches, and they could hear coughings and howlings and angry jumpings high up in the air among the thin branches. The monkey people are forbidden, said Baloo. Forbidden to the jungle people. Remember. Forbidden, said Bagheera, but I still think Baloo should have warned thee against them. I? How was I to guess he would play with such dirt, the monkey people? Faugh! A fresh shower came down on their heads, and the two trotted away, taking Mowgli with them. What Baloo had said about the monkeys was perfectly true. They belonged to the treetops, and as beasts very seldom look up, there was no occasion for the monkeys and the jungle people to cross one another's path. But whenever they found a sick wolf or a wounded tiger or bear, the monkeys would torment him and would throw sticks and nuts at any beast for fun and in the hope of being noticed. Then they would howl and shriek senseless songs and invite the jungle people to climb up their trees and fight them, or would start furious battles over nothing among themselves and leave the dead monkeys where the jungle people could see them. They were always just going to have a leader and laws and customs of their own, but they never did, because their memories would not hold over from day to day, and so they settled things by making up a saying, what the Bandarlog think, now the jungle will think later. And that comforted them a great deal. None of the beasts could reach them, but on the other hand, none of the beasts would notice them. And that was why they were so pleased when Mowgli came to play with them and when they heard how angry Baloo was. And we'll read more next time of The Jungle Book.